Okay, so it starts with the problem. We'll work out an illustration and exercise. It will be a clubbed one. Illustration and exercise will do parallelly. So the first one, a firm of X, Y, and Z was dissolved on 1st of April 2022. Y demands that his loan of rupees 25,000 be paid before the payment of capitals of the partners. But X and Z are of the opinion that capitals be paid before the payment of loan by Y. Who is correct and why? Just remember these problems are basically one mark problems, and moreover when you're going to attempt such type of problem you have to quote with some sections or with some justification. When they ask who is correct, you have to give the reason who is correct along with the justification. So yesterday I taught you that in this chapter section 48 talks about the settlement, and this is a case which talks about the settlement of loan and capital. So already we discussed in yesterday's chapter that first and the foremost the liabilities will be settled. That means loan account of the partners will be settled first, and then only capital should be settled in this case. Even though you don't have any bank loan or third party loan, you have got the partners loan. So the first priority will go to the partners loan, and then only will go to the partners capital account. It is mentioned here very clearly. See who is correct. So according to these three partners, X, Y, and Z, who is demanding? Y is demanding that loan of 25,000 should be paid before the payment of capital, whereas X and Z are of the opinion they are objecting it. So obviously partner Y is correct. So you will give your answer stating that Y is correct because Section 48 of the Indian Partnership Act 1932 suggests that loan by the partner is paid before the payment of capital. So this is how your statement has to be. It is a one mark question and it's a statement based question. So this is how your answers has to be. Don't just write partner Y is correct and loan account will be settled first before the settlement of capital. Without quoting the section, if you write it, they will not give you full marks. So section is very, very, very important. Have I make it clear to you? Yeah, okay. So the next question. What's the next question? Just read the question. Read the question. Anyone? Yeah, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Okay, so here again they are talking about the loan, and in this case, if you see, all the partners are decided for the dissolution. So here they are talking about in what way the firm has dissolvents on a mutual agreement. So they can also add one more point to the question. State the mode of dissolution. From the above context, also derive the mode of dissolution. So yesterday we had discussed that there are five different modes of dissolution, and one among those modes of dissolution is dissolution by a mutual agreement. So here if you see the point says all the partners decides to dissolve. If this is the case, then it is a mutual agreement concept. why, okay, on what date? On 1st of April 22, why a partner demands that his loan of rupees 80,000 should be paid before the payment of loan by Mrs. X. So here, who are the partners? If you see, it is very clear that partner Y is a partner, whereas Mrs. X is not the partner. Okay, so according to this case, if you see, there are two partners, X and Y. These are the partners in the firm. Whereas third party, who is the third party in this case? In this case, the third party is Mrs. Y or Mrs. X. Sorry, just Mrs. X. Mrs. X is a third party. So in this problem, if you see, both these people, who are those? Mrs. X as well as Y. Y has also given loan. Okay, he has also provided loan to the firm, and Mrs. X has also granted loan to the firm. So the firm has borrowed loan from these two parties. But who has to be given first priority? Both of them are demanding that, okay, Y demands that my loan should be paid first, and X is demanding, Mrs. X is demanding that their loan should be paid first. Okay, sorry, Mr. X demands that the Mrs. X loan should be paid first. So who is correct among this? Obviously, the third party loan. Okay, the third party loan will be the first priority. This will be paid first, and this will be as the second priority. And this is also again based on the section 48. So section 48 is dealt with the more settlement. Okay, so you have to say partner X is correct because according to section 48 of the Indian Partnership Act 1932, outsiders loan or third parties loan will be settled before the payment of internal liabilities, that is partners loan. Okay, then you will say Mrs. X will be paid first before the payment of partner Y. Is this clear to you? Okay. Now moving on to the third question. What the third question is all about? Anyone can read. Okay, good. So in this case, if you see, it is mentioned that the firm has taken loan from two different parties. From the question, it's very clear that A and B are partners. Okay, they are the partners, and they are sharing profits and losses in the ratio 3:2. Obviously, this is not required. The profit sharing ratio is not required as per this problem is concerned, but still they are given just for an understanding purpose. They are given that Mrs. A has given loan of rupees 20,000, and the firm has also taken, okay, loan of rupees 10,000 from B. The firm was dissolved and the assets were realized. So when dissolution takes place, obviously you'll sell your assets and realization will take place, and it was realized to an extent of rupees 25,000. State the order of payment of Mrs. A's loan and B's loan with reasons. Okay, so here if you see, let us first understand, okay, how much is the total loan the firm has got. Okay, there are two persons who has given loan to the firm. Who are they? One, Mrs. A, okay, Mrs. A's loan, and the other person is Who's the other person? Mr. B, right? So partner B, Mr. B's loan. A's loan amounting to rupees how much? 20,000 and his loan is 10,000. And his loan is rupees 10,000. So therefore, total loan which the firm has got is rupees 30,000. This is the amount the firm has got. But assets realized value given in the question is rupees 25,000. So with this 25,000, whom will you settle first? The first priority should be given to third party. Among these two persons, who is the third party? Mrs. A, right? Mrs. A is a third party. So the total loan of Mrs. A is 20. You have got 25,000 rupees with you. That means the entire amount of 20 will be settled for Mrs. A. Complete 20,000 will be settled. For Mr. B, so the second priority will be paid to the partner Mr. B, though the amount is 10,000. Now, out of this 25,000, you have used 20,000. So, what will be the remaining balance? You will be left over only with an amount of rupees 5,000. Even though the loan is 10,000 that you have to be paid, but 5,000 is only available. So, he will be paid off with an amount of rupees 5,000 only. So, this is the order of settlement, and this is based on the Section 48 of Indian Partnership Act of 1932. So that is the reason that you have to quote. According to the Section 48 of the Indian Partnership Act 1932, Mrs. A's loan of 20,000 will be settled first, being an outsider's debt, and then partners B's loan will be settled. So B will be paid up to the available cash of rupees 5,000. Now, if the same problem, instead of mentioning it as Mrs. A and Mr. B, suppose if the question slightly get changed in such a way, okay, let me make the changes over here. Okay, the firm borrowed rupees 30,000 as loan from the following members. One, it says that bank loan is to the extent of rupees 20,000, and let's say like the partner, okay, Mrs. A's loan to the extent of rupees 10,000. This is one case. Okay, this is I'm giving as case 1. The same problem with slight modification. Okay, let me make it as case 2. Okay, so slightly I change the values. In case 1, if you see, the loan amount borrowed is 30,000, and from bank it is 20, from Mrs. A it is 10. Okay, and it is said like the value of asset realized. Okay, so assets realized value is rupees, same 25,000, let us take for the example. Now, what will be your first priority? Who will be settled first among these two? Among these two people, bank and Mrs. A, whom you will settle first? Exactly. So, the first priority. Okay, first you will be settling the bank loan of rupees 20,000, and then you will be settling, okay, Mrs. A's loan with available cash of rupees 5,000. But of course, the remaining payment should be brought from the personal assets of the partner. Okay, because being a third party, the remaining amount should be brought from the personal assets of the partner for the settlement. In the second case, over here, let us take the same value, assets realized. Assets realized rupees 25,000. Now here if you see bank loan amount is 10,000, but Mrs. A's loan amount is 20,000. Whom will you settle first? In the previous example, amount realized is also same 25, here also same 25, but there the loan amount altogether is 30, here also loan amount total amount is 30, but there if you see bank loan was 20,000 rupees, but here bank loan is 10,000 rupees. There Mrs. A's loan was 10,000, but here Mrs. A's loan is 20. Now how will you deal this particular case? Whom will we settle first? Who will you settle first? Either bank or Mrs. A. Very good. Even though the amount, even though the amount borrowed from the bank is minimum compared to Mrs. A's loan, bank should be given the first priority when compared with Mrs. A's loan. Okay, so the first you will be settling bank loan, and then you will have to pay for Mrs. A's loan. Okay, so this is how the order of payment should be. So here bank will be paid with the amount of rupees 10,000, and the remaining balance left over will be only 15,000 rupees, but though the amount is 20,000, so the remaining balance will be brought from the partner's private assets. So the remaining value, whatever required to settle this loan, will be brought by the partner from his personal assets because it is a third party loan. Am I making sense to you? Were you able to understand these three different cases? Okay. So moving on to the next one, payment of the firm's debt and private debt. So today this is a section number 49. So this is going to be your fourth important section as per this problem is concerned. I mean this chapter is concerned. So far what are the sections that you have learned since yesterday? Let me just recall it here. You have started with section number 39. Am I right? Okay. Then we discussed about section number 40, 43. Good. We discussed on 43, and then we discussed on section number 48. In this 48, you have got two subdivisions, 48A and 48B, and today you are coming across one section called as section number 49. Okay, so what is the significance of this? All if you ask, section 39 dealt with the meaning or definition. Okay, this meaning or definition of dissolution. Section 43, what does it talks about? Section 43 talks about what? Very good. So the mode of dissolution. And section 48, talks about the settlement process. So settlement. And section 49 is exclusively talking about payment of firm's debt and private debts. Okay. So section 49 talks about payment of, okay, payment of firm's debt and private debts. These things can be given in the match the following. They may give the significance one side and they may give the section on the other side, or they may give you as an MCQ, or they may ask as a true or false. Anyway, they can ask. They can ask. And don't say that they will ask. Okay, everywhere there is some possibility and probability. Right. So what they say here, you see, debts which the firm owes to outsiders are known as firm's debts, whereas the debt which a partner owes in his personal capacity are known as private debt. So this is a meaning between the two different debts. Okay, if the firm has any debts to the outsiders, that will be recorded as the what outsiders debt or the third party's debt, so which is called as firm's debt. Same way, if any partner is having out of his personal capacity a debts owing to him is called as private debts. And the following provisions apply in case of firm's debt and private debt. First, firm's property is applied for payment of firm's debt. So if it is a firm's debt, then the firm's property will be applied. Private property of each partner will be applied first towards the payment of his private debt, and surplus if any. Okay, after meeting that, if there is any surplus, then it will be applied towards the payment of firm's debt. So how the order goes, just you check it up. If there is a firm's debt, you will use the firm's asset to clear out the firm's debt. Whereas, if there is a debt owing to a particular partner, then his private property will be used to settle those debts. And after settling the private debt, if at all there is some surplus left over, then that surplus will be used to settle out the firm's debt. Let me give you an example so you'll have a clarity. Okay, so if you just look at this example, you'll have a clarity. Imagine that A, B, and C are partners in a firm. Okay, they are partners in a firm sharing profits and losses equally. The partners decided to dissolve the firm on 1st April 2022. On the date of dissolution, the following items were brought to your notice. How will you settle them? Okay, how will you settle them is a question. A. There was an external liability of rupees 1 lakh to the firm on the date of dissolution. B. Partner A has a debt of rupees 1,50,000. Okay, partner A has a debt of rupees 1,50,000. And now they said to repay, okay, to repay the, sorry, to repay partners A's debt, he sold out his building worth of rupees 8 lakhs, sorry, not 8 lakhs, worth of rupees 2 lakhs for rupees 4 lakh 50,000. Now the question says like this. Okay, there was three partners A, B, and C in a firm who are sharing profits and losses equally. The partner had decided to dissolve the firm on this particular date. On the date of dissolution, the following items have been brought to our notice or attention. How will you settle them? They're asking you. There was an external liability of rupees 1 lakh to the firm on dissolution date, and partner A has a debt of rupees 1 lakh 50,000. And then they said to repay partners A's debt, he sold out his building, which is worth of rupees 2 lakh for rupees 4 lakh 50,000. So they've asked you what to do, settlement, and they're given two scenarios. So here, what will you do? First, you will have to settle the partner A's debt. Am I right? Because you have got two things. You have got, okay, private debt, as well as you have got firm's debt. But here, which property has been used? Have you used the firm's property or the private property? Which property has been used? Firm property or private property? Hello? Which? Very good. So the private property has been utilized. Okay, so you have used the private property in this case. Okay, so what was the amount that you got out of the sale? The sale proceed value is, sale proceeds was for rupees 4 lakh 50,000. Okay, private debt. Partner A's debt is rupees how much? 1 lakh 50,000, and firm's debt is rupees 1 lakh. So here if you see from this 4 lakh 50, will you be able to settle this 1 lakh 50? Okay, so that means you reduce 1 lakh 50 from 4 lakh 50. What will be the leftover balance? Rupees 3 lakhs. Be careful. From 4 lakh 50, you are going to subtract. Yeah, is it so? From 4 lakh 50, if you are going to subtract 1 lakh 50, it will be 3 lakhs. Yes, right, sorry. I thought it's 2 lakh 50. I'm sorry. Okay, so you'll be having 3 lakh rupees with you. Now, is this a surplus or is it a deficit? This is a surplus left over after the meeting up your private debt. Now, this can be used to settle your firm's debt, and after that, you may have further surplus of rupees, okay, 2 lakhs that will be with you. So, this is what they say in this concept. If the firm has got any private debt, oh sorry, if the firm has got any debt and also the partner has a debt, then the settlement of those debts will be in such a way, from the private debt of the partner, first his debts will be cleared. Later, if there is any surplus, that surplus will be paid off. That surplus will be used to settle the firm's debt. Is this clear to you? Okay. So moving on to the important segment where the list of accounts that what you are going to prepare is. So realization account is the foremost account in the dissolution process. So the first and the foremost account to be prepared is realization account. And for preparing this, if you understand the procedure, from that itself you can derive the journal entry. Or if you know that ledger account, from the ledger account you can prepare the journal, then you need not mug up the journal separately. Or else you should understand the journal, and then with that journal you have to prepare the ledger. Realization account is also a ledger account only. Okay, realization account is basically a ledger account only. Okay, this is a ledger account. Okay, so here if you see, they have mentioned you what is realization account is all about and the accounting entries of realization account. So as we discussed yesterday, the procedure they have mentioned here, realization account is prepared only at the time of dissolution of a firm. And the purpose of preparing this account is to close the books of account of the dissolved firm and determine gain or loss on realization of assets and payment of liability. ஸோ உங்களோட பிஸ்னஸை க்ளோஸ் பண்ணுற சமயத்தில் மட்டும்தான் ரியலைசேஷன் அக்கௌண்ட் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுவீங்க. இந்த அக்கௌண்ட் ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுறது எதுக்குன்னு பார்த்தோன்னாக்க, என்ன அளவுக்கு உங்களோட அசட்ஸ் வந்து ரியலைஸ் ஆயிருக்கு அண்ட் உங்களோடது லைபிலிட்டிஸை செட்டில் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமா உங்களுக்கு ப்ராஃபிட் வந்திருக்கா இல்லை லாஸ் வந்திருக்கா அதை டிரைவ் பண்ணுறது தான் இந்த அக்கௌண்ட்டை நம்ம ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணுறோம். இதுதான் இந்த அக்கௌண்ட்டோட அல்டிமேட் அப்ஜெக்டிவ். அண்ட் இதுக்கு பார்த்தீங்கன்னாக்க ப்ரொசீஜர், த 5 ஸ்டெப்ஸ் ஆஸ் they mention here. First step, transfer all the assets. Okay, transfer all the assets. ஆனால் அதுலேயும் பார்த்தினாக்க they are given some exemptions. என்ன அந்த எக்ஸம்ஷன் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தினாக்க, as it goes here, except fictitious assets, loan to partner and cash or bank account, okay, to the debit side of the which account, realization account. So the one which I marked in pink are exemption items. Okay, so you transfer all the assets to the debit side of realization account. Here fictitious assets being losses are transferred to the debit side of the capital account of partners. Okay, so here as I said, if you have any losses, that will be transferred to the partner's capital account. Okay, so fictitious assets being even the losses are transferred to the debit side of partner's capital account or the partner in the profit sharing ratio. So hope in asset category, leaving out the fictitious assets, you will be taking over the remaining one. And then as they have mentioned, in case of liabilities, so liabilities what they say, all the liabilities except loan. Okay, so loan you're not supposed to take it. Okay, loan by partner account and partner's capital account to the credit side of the realization account. So which account you'll take it up? This you'll take it to the credit side of your realization account. The next one, amount realized. So whatever the amount realized on sale of asset will be transferred to the credit of this account, including the unrecorded assets. and the assets that are taken by a partner against capital. So if any partner is taking over some of the assets, okay, against his capital, then remember this will be the journal to be followed. What is the journal? The respective partner's capital account. The journal is partner's capital account will be debited to realization account. This is the entry to be followed if partner takes away any asset against his capital. Okay, so that's why it is said the partner's capital will be brought to the credit side of realization account. And then further it says the payment of liabilities. So you have to settle the liabilities, including these liabilities, unrecorded liabilities, and the liabilities assumed by the partner. So that means if any partner takes away the liability, then what will be the journal entry? What will be the journal entry if a partner takes over the liability? If partner takes away the asset, this is the entry. If partner takes over the liability, exactly. Okay. So it will be as realization account debited to partners capital account. Okay. So by this, you ensure that the payment is to be made off. So that's what they say. Not only the payment to be done for the okay liabilities which is being okay brought to the realization account from the balance sheet, even unrecorded liabilities to be settled, and even the liabilities assumed by the partners has to be settled off. Okay. And then it comes finally expenses incurred by the firm on dissolution will be debited. And once you do this five steps, then your realization account will give you a net result either as a profit or loss. So look here again in this chapter, you have got five steps. Okay. So yesterday we discussed that there are five modes in the solution. There are five modes in the solution. Okay. And then what we discussed yesterday or today, if you see, there are five steps. Okay. There are five steps in preparing the realization account. Okay. In preparation of realization account. And there are five important accounts. Okay, there are five important accounts that are prepared. Five important accounts in resolution. Hope you remember these things. So it is five as you can see here. Realization account. Okay, followed by that the second account is loan by partner, loan by firm to partner, partner's capital account, and bank or cash account. So these are the five important accounts that we'll prepare in resolution. So look at this five modes of resolution, five steps in resolution, five important accounts that are prepared in resolution. And if you see in terms of the important sections, totally there are four, but 48 section as a two bifurcation A and B. So if you see in that way, it becomes how much? Six. Okay, it becomes six sections, right? So this is how the importance you can see the numbers also. There are some uniformity, modes, steps, and process. Okay, so this is how they are given the journal entry for bringing up various assets. Where will you record it? On the debit side. So entry is realization to assets, whereas when you are going to transfer it, your liabilities, it will be as the realization account will be in the credit and liabilities will be in the credit debit. And here if you see, they have also okay brought realization to investment. And if you have a reserve, investment fluctuation reserve, that is a liability which will be taken up to your credit side. Okay, they are given here like if you have any provision against an asset. Okay, so provision against an asset in the sense, these are all some of the important provisions you have to keep in mind for your investments. For investments you maintain IFR, it is a provision. And for your debtors or sundry debtors, okay, whether it is a debtor or sundry debtors, what is the provision that you maintain on debtors? You are maintaining something called provision for bad and doubtful debts. Okay, this is what they're talking over here. Okay, so provision or reserve against an asset. When an asset is transferred to the realization account, the corresponding provision or its reserve, okay, corresponding provisions or reserve existing in the liability side of the balance sheet is also transferred to the realization account. Example they given, investment exists in the asset side of the balance sheet and investment fluctuation reserve exists on the liability side of the balance sheet. So entry will be as realization account will be debited to investment. This is for the asset transferation, and for the liability transferred investment fluctuation reserve to realization account. Same as the case in the debtors. In debtors, if you see, the provision for bad and doubtful debts will be appearing on the asset side itself. It won't be appearing on the liability side. But still, the amount what you have created as a provision, hope you all remember what you learned in your 11th standard. Okay, provision and reserves. Provisions and reserves. Both are liabilities. Okay, both are liabilities, whereas provision is something as a known liability, whereas reserve is for an unknown. It is for an unknown liability. So on the whole, provision if you are created for an asset like debtors, though it appears on the asset side of your balance sheet, the amount of provision what you have created should be transferred to the credit side. So provisions will be transferred to the credit side of which account? Realization account. Okay, realization account. Similarly, the reserve will be transferred to the credit side of which account? Realization account. Any doubt in this concept? Up to this, any doubt? Hello? Is there any doubt to anyone? Okay, that's what they have mentioned here. Okay, if you have got debtors, debtors will go to the debit side of realization and provision will come to the credit side of realization. And then as it is mentioned here, fictitious assets. So balance of fictitious assets such as if you have got any accumulated loss or deferred revenue expenditure, that is nothing but your advertisement suspense, are not transferred to realization account. These will be transferred to the capital account. Okay, it won't be transferred, not transferred to. Okay, just a minute. Not transferred to realization account, whereas where you will transfer it, it will be transferred to capital accounts of partner in the profit sharing ratio. Any doubt in this context up to now? Yes, please. Only the IFR. No, even IFR is the only reserve which will be transferred to the credit side. Okay. And apart from that, if you see, if you have provisions for any of the asset that you are maintaining, like provision for bad and doubtful debts, or if there's a provision for depreciation. Okay, if you're maintaining some provision for depreciation, it is against an asset, right? That can be transferred. Okay, fine. So this is the concept, as I said, the fictitious assets such as advertisement suspense or accumulated losses should not be taken up to your realization account. It should be taken only to the partner's capital account. And that's what they mentioned here in the journal entry. It will taken to the partner's debit side because loss will be debited and advertisement suspension should also be debited. That's how you're doing this too. And then the current accounts of partner. Okay, suppose if you have got any current account of partners in the balance sheet. Okay, so balance in the current account, that is debit or credit. So sometimes the partner's current account can show favorable balance and sometimes it may show an unfavorable balance. Okay, of partners will be transferred to the capital account and not to the realization account. Okay, though it shows, is it so? How about for others, ma? Okay, now is it okay? How about now? Now is it fine or still you face the same problem? No, are you facing the same problem even now? Or it's okay right now? Just confirm me whether you are facing the same problem even now. It's breaking, huh? Okay. Probably I don't know what's the issue. Okay. But you're able to understand the concept, right? Are you able to understand the concept? Hello? Can you able to hear me now? Hello? Can you able to can you able to hear me now? Hello? Am I audible to you? Can you able to hear me now, ma? Can you confirm? Can you able to hear me now? Kindly confirm no? Hello? Now can you able to hear me? Okay, fine. So thanks for the confirmation. Now, this is what I was mentioning to you. In the current account, if you are facing a debit balance or a credit balance, then the amount should not be transferred to the realization account. It should be transferred only to the partner's capital account. That's the entry that they have mentioned here. The entry for current account with the credit balance will be as partner's current account to partner's capital account. Whereas if it is showing a debit balance, then it will be as partner's capital account debited to partner's current account. Now, moving on to the loan segment. Obviously, we have discussed on loan, but anyhow, we'll complete the loan concept also. Loan to a partner. That means what is the concept? Firm has given loan to the partner. So balance in the loan to a partner account will not be transferred to the debit of his capital account, but is received from him. Okay. So if you have provided any loan to a particular partner, then the firm will not transfer the amount of loan to the debit of his capital account, but instead they will receive from him. That is the concept what they are trying to say. So any loan which the firm has given to the partner, it will not be transferred. Okay, it will not be transferred to the partner's capital account. It will be collected from them. So you will be passing the entry as cash or bank account will be debited, followed by that loan to partner account. So this will be taken to the loan account and it will be taken to the cash or bank account and not to the partner's capital account. So remember these exemptions. These are called as an exemptions. So these items will not be taken up to the partner's capital account. It will be taken only to the loan account or to the cash out bank account. And finally, as you could see here, for closing the liabilities account. So how will you close the liabilities account? The liabilities relating to outside parties, that is liabilities to outsiders, will be transferred to the realization account in their book value, and it will be passed by this journal. Yes, ma? பண்ணிருக்கேன்ப்பா. ஏன்? How about for others, ma? How about for... Okay, just a minute. Now? Okay. Okay, fine, fine. So now you could see here that for closing the liabilities, okay, sundry creditors, bills payable, bank loans, all these will be in the debit and realization account will be in the credit. So whatever we discussed in the ledger format in yesterday's session, the same we are discussed in the form of journal entries in today's segment. Is this clear to you? And we even discussed in detail which to be taken, which are not to be taken, and why. All these things we have discussed it in detail. And also here you have a point. Liabilities to the outsiders means liabilities which the firm has to pay to outsiders, such as creditors, bills payable, bank overdraft, employees provident fund, loan of partner, spouse, etc. becomes your external liabilities. Okay, liabilities due to partner is a outside liability. Okay, can you able to understand? Liabilities due to partners is not an outside liability. That they also made very clearly. If there is a liability which is due to a partner, it is not an outside liability, it is an internal liability. I am making sense to you all. So, employee provident fund. Do you remember there was one problem which we come across in partnership also in the previous topic? Provident fund, employees provident fund. It is not to be transferred. It is not to be utilized. Okay, it is a external third party's loan. It is considered to be as a there's a employer has to settle it to the government. It is a statutory account. Okay, so the outside liability refers to these items. Okay, outside liability is referring to these items. They are as mentioned here: creditors, bills payable, bank overdraft, employees provident fund, loan of partners, spouse. Spouse is nothing but wife. Wife தான் அவங்க spouse ன்னு mean பண்றது. Okay, so they can ask you in one word, like give few examples for external liabilities of the firm at the time of dissolution. So you may have to quote all this: creditors, bills payable, okay, partners, spouse loan, or partner's wife's loan, all these things as an example of your external liability. The next, as it says, the important points to keep in mind while transferring the liabilities to your realization account. Okay, they are given few examples. Liability to the third parties, okay, that's outsiders, do not include the accumulated profit. Example, reserve, credit balance of profit and loss account, etc. Hence, these accounts are not transferred to the realization account but transferred to the capital account of the partners. I repeated, liability to third parties. Okay, there is third party liabilities you'll take into account, they say. But what are they? Which do not include accumulated profits. When are you taking the accumulated losses? No, you are not taking any accumulated losses to the realization account. You are taking it to the partner's capital account. In the same way, accumulated profit should also be taken to the partner's capital account. Reserve credit balance of profit and loss. Okay, this credit balance of profit and loss is what they say here. Okay, accumulated profits. The reserve can be a general reserve or workman compensation reserve, as the case may be. You know very well that reserves are part of capital, part of your profits, which is set aside to meet the liabilities. So here they say reserve the credit balance of profit and loss account, etc. They are to be transferred to the capital account of the partners and not to realization account. Coming to the second point, loan by partner. There you discussed about loan to partner. Here, loan by partner. If any partner has given loan to the firm, it is not transferred to realization account, but instead loan by partner are kept and paid separately. Okay, so loan by partner is being kept and paid separately. It is so because loan by partner is not an outside liability, it is an internal liability. Okay, is to be paid after the payment of outside liability but before the payment of capitals. So this is the logic behind it. Okay, will be paid after the payment of outside liability but before the payment of capital. This is the concept that talks about your loan by partner. Finally, liability due to partners. Okay, liabilities due to partner, that is capital and current account of partners are also not liability to outsiders and are not transferred to realization account. So suppose liabilities that are due to partner, if your capital or the current account is not showing a fair balance, it is showing an unfair balance, then obviously, okay, it is a liability, are also not transferred or it is not a liability to outsiders, it is an internal liability. Okay, and it is not transferred to realization account. So by this, I think you are clear like which are the items to be transferred, which are the items that are not to be transferred. Okay, are you getting my point? When you're preparing the realization account, which are the items to be taken into account, which are the items that are not to be taken into account? Any doubt? Any doubt up to this? Okay. Now comes your WCR concept, because if you don't understand these logics behind this, when we do any comprehensive problems, obviously the problem you may not be able to understand why do we assume this or why we don't take up this. So that's why I'm just touching upon all the theoretical aspects. So WCR, you know very well, it is nothing but workman compensation reserve. It is a reserve which is set aside out of the profit to meet the claims of compensation by the workman if it arises. And at the time of dissolution, okay, any of the following situation may exist and it will be dealt as explained below. First one, there is a liability against the workman compensation reserve. Okay, so liability against workman compensation reserve does not exist or no information is given. So suppose there is no liability that is appearing, then what will you do? The same treatment. WCR will be completely transferred to the partner's capital. Okay, so just you recollect this reserve concept what they said here. Okay, the reserves, credit balance, and profit and loss account. If you don't have any usage of the respective reserve, it will be transferred. Okay, to which account? To the partner's capital account. So this is the first case. Second case, there is a liability of workman compensation, but it is less than the amount of workman compensation reserve. Say for example, okay, example, your workman compensation reserve. In this, you have got an amount of rupees 1 lakh. You have got a claim. Okay, there is a claim against WCR to the extent of rupees 40,000. Now you tell me, is the claim is less than the amount of reserve or the claim is more than the amount of reserve? Is the claim is less than the amount or is it more than the amount? Very good. So the claim is less than WCR. In normal cases, when I say normal cases, I'm talking about where company will run. There is a firm will be running. I'm talking up to the stage of retirement, not dissolution. Whenever I say normal case, just keep in your mind I'm talking about a situation or scenario where the firm is in existence, whereas either a partner would have got newly admitted or a partner would have gone away from the business retirement. Okay, if it is a normal case, your entry will be in such a way like workman compensation reserve account will be in the debit, followed by two workman compensation claim account, and the remaining balance will go to partners capital account. Do you remember this concept? The remaining balance will go to the partners capital in the profit sharing ratio. But now, in case of dissolution, okay, in case of dissolution, the entry will be as workman compensation reserve account will be debit, followed by that in the place of this claim workman compensation claim, this is nothing but basically this is a liability. Claim is always a liability. So instead of this workman compensation claim being a liability, you are going to replace it with realization account. That is the beauty of the dissolution. In dissolution, the liabilities also will be replaced by realization account. Assets will also be replaced with realization account. So being a liability, I am replacing this account with realization account. Realization account and two partners capital account, right? So this is how the entry will be passed. That's what they have mentioned here also. Workman compensation reserve account is debited to realization account to partners capital account. Now can you able to compare and contrast the differences between the workman compensation reserve in case of normal situation and in case of dissolution situation? Were you able to understand this concept? Yeah, okay. The next one, if you see liability of liability of the workman compensation reserve is equal to the amount of workman compensation reserve. Okay, so the liability of workman compensation is equal to the reserve. If this is the case, nothing will go to the partner as remaining balance. So the entry will be only as workman compensation reserve account debited to realization account. In place of the claim, you are going to have realization account. That's it. Nothing else is different. Then coming to the third case, the third case is the liability of workman compensation is more than the amount of workman compensation reserve. Okay, fine. So this we need to discuss it. Okay, this we have to discuss it. What is it? The liability of workman compensation is more. So liability is more when compared to the claimers. Okay, let us understand the normal case and let us understand in this particular case. What will happen? Okay, now I'll give you an example. Okay, let us take an example. WCR. Okay, Workman Compensation Reserve. I'm just using shortcut for the time conservation. So please don't follow the shortcut. That's why I wrote here in the full form. Okay, here for time constraint, I'm using shortcut. Please don't follow shortcut. Shortcuts are strictly prohibited. If you write it in the examination, marks will be deducted. Board exam, whatever exam it is. So WCR account, I've got a value of rupees 1 lakh, whereas I've got a claim to the extent of rupees 1 lakh 20,000. Now you can see this is a situation where claim exceeds reserve. So claim is more than the reserve. Claim exceeds reserve by what value? By rupees 20,000. Okay. First, let us understand this in a normal scenario and in dissolution scenario. In normal case, what will happen? You need to follow two journal. What are they? WCR account will be debited, followed by that. Do you remember? Revaluation account. The difference will go to revaluation account. Revaluation account debited to workman compensation claim account. ஞாபகம் இருக்கா இது? Do you remember? Okay. And then what will you do? The amount, whatever is appearing the debit of realization should be transferred to the partner's capital. So second entry will pass as partner's capital account will be debited to revaluation account. Is this clear to you? Is this clear to you? Okay. But we are now in the stage of dissolution. Okay. In dissolution, if you see, the amount is not sufficient enough. So the entire amount of whatever you have WCR, okay, will be utilized to meet the claim. Okay, so it will go to the realization, sorry, it will go to realization account. Okay, so WCR account will be debited to realization account. Okay, first. And here if you see, they are mentioned as the same. WCR account is debited to realization account. Whatever the maximum amount that you have in the realization, it will be taken off because there is a usage of this reserve. So that's what they said here. Okay, in one of the point, the reserves will be also transferred. Okay, it is not only the assets or other liability, even you will be transferring the reserves. Okay, as they said, whatever the reserve that you have, it will be transferred. If the reserve does not have any usage, then it will be distributed to a partner in the full. Now can you able to understand? Were you able to understand the concept? How you take what you take? As I mentioned here, see, provisions or reserve against an asset. Okay, the realization corresponding provisions or reserves existing in the liabilities will be transferred. So here you have got a reserve, okay, WCR. That reserve you will be using up and it will be transferred to the realization account because nothing is there to distribute it to the partner here. Okay, so that the entire amount you will be showing it to your realization account credit side, and of course this will result in the loss. That loss will go to the partner's capital directly from realization account. Can you able to understand the differences between in the normal case and in the case of dissolution? So in the case of dissolution, it is going to be in such a way that Workman compensation reserve. Okay, WCR account will be debited to realization account. This is the concept because there is nothing to distribute to the partner. The entire amount you are going to transfer it to the credit side of realization account. In this case, clear, clear this concept. Okay, now coming up to the problem where you have various scenarios with respect to WCR appearing in your question. Shiv and Mohan are partners who are sharing the profits in the ratio 3 is to 2. Give your journal entries under the following situation at the time of dissolution. The reserve is there in the balance sheet to the extent of 70,000, but nothing is given. The question as how much is the claim, or do they have any claim in existence? So that means no information is available. So the entire amount of WCR will be debited and that will be shared among the partners in the profit sharing ratio, which will go to their capital account, and the entry will be as workman compensation reserve account will be debited to partners capital account. So 75,000 should be divided in 3 is to 2 ratio. Able to understand? Moving on to the second one. The second one says that the WCR you are maintaining to the extent of 60,000 rupees, but liability is to the extent of 35. So now you tell me under which category it falls. You have 60,000, but only 35,000 is the liability. So that means amount of WCR we are maintaining is 60,000 rupees, but claim is to the extent of how much? To the extent of rupees. How much is the claim value? 35. So claim value is 35. What is the balance left over? What will be the balance will be as 25, right? So now what will you do? This 35 you will take it to realization account. This 35 you will take it to realization account because it's a liability, because it is for a claim. Whereas the balance 25 you will distribute to partners. Okay, this you will distribute to partners in their profit sharing ratio. Okay, in their profit sharing ratio. So the entry will be in such a way like WCR account will be in the debit to realization account, to realization account, and to partners capital account. So in this case, if there are two partners, then their partner name should be followed one below the other. Shiv and Mohan. Okay, so that means you write as two. Okay, Shiv's capital account and to Mohan's capital account. So the amount entirely in the WCR was 60,000 and the claim amount of 35 will go here. The remaining balance 25 in the ratio of what, 3 is to 2? Yes, 3 is to 2. So if you divide it, what will you get? So 25,000 into 3 by 5. So 5,000 into 3, 15,000 will go to Shiv and 10,000 will go to Mohan. Now, when you prepare the realization account, do not forget. Okay, when you are going to prepare the realization account, which is a ledger account, as I already said you have to transfer the claim amount. Okay, so that means you will write it on the credit side as WCR. Okay, and what will be the amount that you will transfer? 60 or 35? Which value you should take into account? Which value will bring it to realization account? Whether you'll bring this 60,000 or you'll bring this 35,000. Exactly. You have to bring this 35,000 because this is the liability amount. This is the claim amount, this is the liability amount. So 35,000 only should be brought to your realization account. Many students make a mistake. They bring it by WCR, the entire value of 60,000. Thereby they go wrong. If any one value you take it wrong, obviously that gives you a wrong result of realization profit or realization loss, as the case may be. Clear? Now, coming to next one, your workman compensation reserve is 60, whereas the liability has come to 75. Okay, claim is 75. That means it is exceeded. So first, what will you do? The entire amount of 60,000 will be utilized. Okay, you will use the entire amount of 60,000. So for that, the entry will be as realization account will be debited. Okay, can you able to understand? Realization account will be, so not realization, sorry. Workman compensation reserve account will be debited with the value of rupees 60, and realization account will also be created with the value of rupees 60. So first you are bringing the amount of realization to the picture. The next one is you have to settle this amount. So the liability amount is 75. So you show it as realization to bank 75,000. I'm making it clear to you. This probably I'll show you. Okay. What is the question is you have got amount of rupees 75,000 appearing in your claim. Okay. So WCR. Okay. WCR worth is rupees 60,000, but claim is amounting to rupees 75,000. So you could see that it is increased by the claim is increased by rupees 15,000. So what you have to do is the entire WCR will be used to settle this 75, and then you will be using the cash balances to pay off this amount of 75. So what will you do is you have to prepare the realization account first, as you know very well that when the claim is exceeding, the entire amount of WCR will be used for the meeting of the claim, so nothing will be given to the partner. So first let me bring this value by WCR, the entire 60,000 to the credit side. And now the settlement liabilities should be settled as it is mentioned the okay rules. So the liability should be settled at its full value. So the claim is to be settled. So that means I have to record it on this particular side. Okay, sorry. I'll be recording over the debit side as to bank because I'm going to settle it from the amount what I realized from sale of my asset. So to bank, I'll record the amount. Okay, so the amount is 75,000. So to bank 70,000. Now you can prepare the journal from this ledger. So what is this? WCR is should be debited, realization should be created. Only then this ledger will be perfect. So WCR account is debited to realization account for this 60,000, and then so this I brought as a journal. For this, the entry should be as realization account debited. Okay, realization account is debited to bank account. So the entire 75,000, that's a liability value which I have to settle it. So that I settled it. Got it? So this is how the payment will be done in case of third case. Any doubt up to this third case? Any doubt up to third case? Okay, moving on to the case 4. Workman compensation is amounting to rupees 60. and liability is also 60. So that means nothing will be left over to hand out the partners. So the entry will be workman compensation reserve is 60, to realization account is 60, and this will also be paid off. ஏன்னா நீங்கள் இந்த முதல்ல ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் என்ட்ரி தான் காட்டுறீங்க, ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்ணால் அதை பே பண்ணதுக்கும் என்ட்ரி காட்டணும். ஸோ ஹியர் யூ கேன் see like first is a transfer entry to realization account, that is your liability is getting transferred, and here B entry is the liability is getting settled off. So settlement entry is also happening parallelly. So that's why you are passing two different entries. Coming over to the last one, workman compensation reserve. Nothing is there in the reserve. Okay, so that means your reserve is nil. Okay, whereas liability is there to the extent of 15,000. So now what will you do? First, you should bring the liability. Okay, first you should bring the liability, and then you'll make the payment. Is this the case? In this case, so far you have seen like you are bringing the liability and then you are making the payment. But here you see, do you have any reserve? Do you have any reserve? Hello? Do we have any reserve in this case? In the fifth case. So that means the reserve is nil. So that means no liability. Okay, I don't have any reserve appearing in the liability side. So I will not be transferring anything to the liability side of realization account. So that means when I'm preparing my realization account, okay, I'll prepare it here. When I'm going to prepare my realization account, provided if I got an amount in my WCR, I may bring it here. But here, my WCR is nil. So that means I won't bring it to my realization account. There is no usage of showing nil value in the ledger account. But there is a liability which is appearing where a claim has arisen for which I have to make the payment. So that entry alone you will pass it as to bank whatever the amount is. So the amount of this claim comes to rupees 15,000. So that 15,000 alone you'll be recording it, and for this the entry will be as realization account is debited to bank account, and you will pass with the value of 15,000 in this case. I hope now you would have understood how to deal with the reserve, particularly the WCR, in each of the following cases at the time of dissolution. In this, if you have any doubt, please do let me know before we go for the next problem. Any doubt? Okay. Look at the next one. The next one is nothing but we are just discussing about for realization of assets, whether recorded or unrecorded, and for settlement of liabilities, whether recorded or unrecorded. So when assets are sold for check or for cash, the entry to be passed is cash for bank account. Okay, cash or bank account to realization account. When the asset is taken over by a partner, concerned partner to realization, whereas when an asset is given to a creditor, okay, towards the payment of his dues. Do you understand this one? When an asset is given to, okay, creditor towards what? The payment for his dues, then no entry. This is what I'm saying it as. Yesterday I said you one case. Example, you have a creditor worth of rupees 15,000, say for example. Okay. And this creditor has taken over an asset. Okay. He's taken over an asset, that is stock, which is valued in your books at rupees 20,000. I'm saying an example. உங்களோட புக்ஸ் 20,000 ரெக்கார்டில் இருக்கு. பட் கிரெடிட்டார் அவரோட வர வேண்டிய 15,000 ருபீஸுக்கு இந்த 20,000 ருபீஸ் மதிப்புள்ள ஸ்டாக்கை டேக் அவே பண்ணிட்டார். Okay, settlement. Appo you won't pass any entry. Okay, no entry to be passed. But suppose அதுவே கிரெடிட்டார் என்ன பண்றாரு, the other case I'm saying it, கிரெடிட்டார் வேல்யூ அதே 15,000 தான் இருக்கு. ஓகே, உங்களோட ஸ்டாக் புக்ஸ் ஆஃப் அக்கௌண்ட்ஸ் பார்த்தா 20,000ஆவே ரெக்கார்டில் இருக்கு. அவருக்கு வர வேண்டிய இந்த 15,000 ருபீஸுக்கு இந்த ஸ்டாக்கை அவர் டேக் அவே பண்ணிக்கிறாரு. ஓகே, ஆனால் அவர் உங்களோட ஸ்டாக் 20 கன்சிடர் பண்ணல. அவர் ப்ராப்ளம் 20 வந்து he is considering somewhere for rupees 18,000 வச்சுக்கோங்க. ஓகே, he is considering that 18,000. அப்போ என்ன பார்க்குறாரு, சப்போஸ் if he thinks that 15,000 தான் எனக்கு வர வேண்டிய மணி, பட் நான் 18,000 ஒர்த் ஆஃப் ஸ்டாக் எடுத்திருக்கேன். ஈவன் தோ ஸ்டாக் இஸ் ஒரிஜினலி வேல்யூ at 20,000 ஆஸ் பர் யோர் புக்ஸ் ஆஃப் அக்கௌண்ட்ஸ், அவரோட கணக்கு பிரகாரம் அவர் 18,000 தான் மதிப்பிடுறாரு. So he says that I have taken 18,000 rupees worth of stock for my 15,000 rupees loan. So why don't I repay the remaining 3,000? அவரை பொறுத்தவரைக்கும் 3,000 தான் எக்ஸஸ். ஏன்னா கிரெடிட்டார் அசியூம் பண்ணுற என்ன வேல்யூக்கு, 18,000க்கு. ஸோ அப்போ கிரெடிட்டார் பார்த்தினாக்க he says that 3,000 rupees நான் எக்ஸஸாக டேக் அவே பண்ணிட்டேன். அப்போ 3,000 rupees அவர் ரீஃபண்ட் பண்ணுறாருன்னா ஓகே, then you will pass the entry. Only then you will pass the entry. Is this clear to you? Okay. The next one, it says for settlement of liability, whether recorded or unrecorded. On payment of liability, the entry will be as realization account debited to cash or bank. If a partner is agreed to settle a liability, if partner is agreeing to settle liability, then realization account debited to concerned partner's capital account. So partner asset take away பண்ணா partner capital debit to realization. அதுவே partner liability settle பண்ணதுக்கு take away பண்ணாக்க it is realization account debited to concerned partner's capital account. Now transfer of assets to settle the liabilities. So realization to cash account. Okay, so in the realization account you'll make this to cash account. Now let us see a fifth question where you'll have a clarity. Pass the journal entries. Okay, pass the journal entries for the following transactions on dissolution of a firm of a partners Mohan and Sohan after various assets other than cash and outside liabilities have been transferred to realization account. So they have transferred the items to realization account except these items. Okay, that is outside liability and cash. Okay, let's see what they are done in each and every one of these following cases. Mohan took 50 percentage of the stock at a discount of 20 percentage. So look here, who is Mohan? Mohan is a partner. So partner took 50 percentage of the stock at what? At a discount of 20 percentage. Remaining stock was sold. Okay, so remaining was sold at a profit of 30 percentage on cost. Book value is given to us in the balance sheet at the time of dissolution was rupees 4 lakh. So they are asking us to pass journal entry for the following transactions at the time of dissolution. Okay, where we have to transfer the amount of asset realized. So realization of assets entry pass பண்ணுறாங்க. So first என்ன பண்ணிருக்கு, you have to do some working notes. Look at this working note. What is the amount of stock? What is the amount of stock as given in the question? Total value of the stock given is rupees 4 lakh. This 4 lakh, if you see, one segment has been taken up by partner Mohan. Okay, one portion is taken by Mohan, and here you have remaining. Mohan has taken how much? 50 percentage of the stock. So that means what is 50% of 4 lakh? That comes to rupees 2 lakhs. Mohan under 50% of the stock he has taken. Okay, 50% stock he has taken. So 50% stock value is nothing but rupees 2 lakh. But at what price? At discount he has taken. What is the percent of discount? At 20 percentage discount. He has taken a 20% discount. That means calculate what is 20 percentage of 2 lakh. So into 20 by 100. Common zeros you cancel. So that means rupees 40,000 is a discounted price. So he is taking it only to the value of rupees how much? 2 lakh of 40,000 pochnaka. 1 lakh 60,000. Can you able to understand this calculation? Now, out of 4 lakh, if Mohan takes 150 percentage, that is one portion of the stock, 150 percentage of the stock is taken by Mohan, the remaining will also be 50 percentage. Okay, in a 100% value. This 4 lakh is nothing but this is the 100% value. அப்போ மோகன் 50% எடுத்தா ரிமைனிங் எவ்வளோ இருக்கும் அது ஒரு 50% இருக்கும் அப்போ அதோட வேல்யூ எவ்வளோ இருக்கு தட் இஸ் ஆல்சோ ருபீஸ் 2 lakh ஏன்னா ஒரு 50% 2 lakh இருந்தால் இன்னொன்று 50% என்னவா இருக்கும் 2 lakh தான் இருக்கும் ஓகே நவ் திஸ் 2 lakh rupees worth has been sold out okay it was sold out at profit. So what is the profit percentage they said? At a profit of 30 percentage. So sold at 30% profit. It was sold at 30% profit. Now calculate what is 30% of 2 lakhs. 2 lakh into 30 by 100. Cancel the common zeros. This will give you an amount of rupees 60,000. So that means you know the cost price. Okay, you know the cost price and you have got the profit that will be is equal to your selling price. So that means 2 lakh rupees plus rupees 60,000 is equal to rupees 2 lakh 60,000. Okay, that's equal to rupees 2 lakh 60,000. So that is what they have mentioned here. First you got the value of rupees 1 lakh 60 and then you got the value of 2 lakh 60. Now partner is taking away the asset. So what will be the entry? It will be as Mohan's capital account debited to realization account. Mohan's capital account debited to realization account. So value will be for rupees 1 lakh 60. Okay, the value will be for rupees 1 lakh 60. And in the second case, it was sold out. So when you sell away the asset, you get cash out of the sale. So the entry will be for this is either cash or bank account will be debited to realization account. So if you have to prepare the realization account also, then I'm just passing it side by side. So realization account, you'll be preparing it as a sorry, a ledger account to be prepared. So debit and credit, you'll record as by bank the amount. Okay, 2 lakh 60, and then you'll record as by Mohan 1 lakh 60. Are you able to get the point? The concept first word, can you able to understand? Moving on to the second one. What is that? Debtors rupees 2 lakh 64,000. Provision for doubtful debts rupees 24,000. But rupees 48,000 of the book debts proved to be bad. So that means you have sundry debtors value of rupees 2 lakh 64,000 appearing in the balance sheet. Take for example, you are maintaining a provision for doubtful debts up to rupees 24,000, but it was said like rupees 48,000 of the book debts proved bad. And here if you see the amount of provision what we maintain was only 24, but bad debts arise to the extent of rupees 48. That means still we need further provision. to the extent of rupees 24,000. So here it is as bank account will be, okay, bank account will be debited to realization account. How come? Because it is said like out of 2,64,000, only these much of data are proved to be good. Okay. For example, here we see what is the data's value given in the question. The amount of data's value given in the question was 2 lakh 64, right? Data's value given in the question is rupees 2 lakh 64. Okay. Now, where will you show this data? In the same realization account, I'll just show you. Data will appear on the debit side because it is an asset. Okay, so you'll record as 2 data 2 lakh 64,000. Okay, so for that, what will be a journal entry? Only if you're going to bring the record of data alone means it will be as realization account debited to sundry debtors. If you're going to show only debtors, then it is like realization account. Realization account is debited to sundry debtors, but they are given some information with respect to debtors. Provision for doubtful debts. Okay, so they are also given like provision you are maintaining it off. Okay, provision for doubtful debts. This they are given as rupees 24,000. Suppose imagine that the question says debtors is rupees 2,64,000 and provision for doubtful is 24,000, and it is said like all debtors, okay, proved to be good. That means now in this situation you don't have any usage for this amount of 24,000. If suppose the question says all the data are proved to be good, that means everyone have paid the payment and you have received a total value of 2,64,000 as such, then you won't have any usage for the amount of provision what you have maintained as of now, rupees 24,000. So what you should do, you have to bring this provision to the realization account. So entry will be in such a way like provision for bad and doubtful debts account will be debited to realization realization account. So thereby in this I'll show it as by PBDD the 24,000. I'll bring it over here. If this is the case, what I did is correct. But the problem is not in this way. Okay, and also I should mention one more thing. Okay, the amount of data everyone if you are received means you'll write here as by bank, within a bracket you can write data 2 lakh 64 because it's the amount that you have got realized. But this is not the case in the current scenario. The current scenario says, okay, you have provision for 24,000 and okay, you are maintaining the sorry your data is 2,64,000 rupees, provision is 24,000 rupees, and okay, there is a bad debts. There is a bad debts to the extent of rupees 48,000. Now you tell me, when there is a bad debt, will you use this provision or you won't use this provision, or will the provision be utilized or this provision will not be utilized? இதுக்கு முந்தின கேஸ்ல ப்ரொவிஷன் இருந்தது, ஆனா யாரும் பேட் டேட்டாஸ் கிடையாது. ஆனா இந்த கேஸ் ப்ரொவிஷனும் இருக்கு, பேட் டேட்டாஸும் இருக்கு 48,000க்கு. இப்போ சொல்லுங்க, இந்த ப்ரொவிஷன் நான் கிரியேட் பண்ணதுக்கு இப்போ அதுக்கு வேலை இருக்கா வேலை இல்லையா? இந்த ப்ரொவிஷனுக்கு இப்போ வந்து நீட் ரிக்குவயர்மெண்ட் ஆர் இதுக்கு இப்போ என்ன சொல்றது நெசசிட்டி வருமா வராதா? இந்த ப்ரொவிஷனுக்கு இப்போ எஸ் இந்த ப்ரொவிஷனுக்கு இப்போ நீடு வருது. பட் எனக்கு பேட் டெட்ஸ் 48, என்கிட்ட இருக்கிற ப்ரொவிஷன் ஒன்லி 24. இன்னும் எனக்கு எவ்வளோ தேவைப்படுது? ஸ்டில் ஐ ரிக்வயர்ட் 24,000. ஓகே, ஐ நீட் ஓகே more 24,000 rupees. Okay, I need this amount of 24,000 rupees still. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. If you ask, I'm going to pass it on in such a way that, look here. Okay, in this case, if you see case number 2, okay, what is that? Bank account debited to realization account. So what you are going to realize, that amount alone is going to be made as the realized value. So அப்போ extra provision நம்ம இப்போ create பண்ண முடியாது. So அப்போ அந்த bad debts போக remaining என்ன வருதோ that will be shown to us. So I'll show in this case how you will pass on. The debtor value I'll show here as rupees 2,64,000, and provision for bad and doubtful debts, the entire 24,000 will be shown here. But what will be the amount that I'll receive? If you see, debtors 2,64 minus bad debts 48,000. What will be the remaining balance? You check it out. This becomes as 5. This becomes as 14. So 8 to 14. What will the remaining balance? 6, 5 minus 4, 1, and here this. So how much you'll be receiving it? Only 2,16,000 rupees proved to be as good debtors. ஸோ அப்போ இந்த அமௌண்ட் தான் உங்களுக்கு ரிசீவ் ஆகும். அப்போது பை பேங்க் போட்டு டெட்டாஸில் யூல் ரெக்கார்ட் அஸ் 2,16,000. This is what the entry they have passed here. Okay, for rupees 2,16,000. So now you see where you are shown the bank. You are shown the bank on the credit side of realization account. So how the entry will be passed for this? It will be as bank account will be as debit to realization account 2,16,000, 2,16,000. Any doubt up to this, ma? Any doubt up to this? Okay. In another 5 minutes, we'll complete this problem. Okay. The third we are second we are complete. Now look at the third one. Building. Okay. The book value is for 5 lakh. Has been sold for rupees 8 lakh through a broker, and he has charged rupees 2 lakh 2% as commission. So obviously, when you have to pay something as a commission or brokerage to a person like a broker, is a third party. So it's a third party settlement. Now you have got the value how much you sold for. Okay, so let me work out here. What is the building value? Building value given in the book is rupees 5 lakhs. But what is the selling price? The selling price was rupees 8 lakhs, and they said 2% as brokerage. Always remember, brokerage or commission, everything will be charged only in the selling price. So calculate what is 2% of 8 lakhs. In 8 lakh, 2%. Cancelling the common zeros, this will give you an amount of rupees 16,000. Isn't it? Now, out of rupees 8 lakh, if you subtract the amount of rupees 16,000 which is to be paid as a brokerage, what will be the remaining value? This becomes a 7, 10, 9, 10, 4, 8. Are you getting this value? 7,84,000. If you subtract the amount of brokerage from the net amount realized, you will be getting an amount of rupees 7,84,000. Correct? You can show this in two way. Okay. Now what you done? You sold building for rupees 8 lakh. So the entry will be in such a way like bank account debited to realization account. Okay, bank account debited to realization account. This is for the sale. And when you bring initially the building to your real estate account, how it will be as realization account. Okay, realization account debited to building account. Okay, this will be a first entry. I'm going as per the process. This will be a first entry, and this will be for a sale entry. So realization account debited to building account. What is the original value given in the question? It was 5 lakhs. Right. Sale value, it was for 8 lakhs. Now the payment you are done to the third party brokerage you are paid. So that means it is going to be through realization account. So realization account will be debited to cash or bank 16,000 rupees. You can show either in this way, or else directly you can subtract the amount of 16,000 from 8 lakh and show only for 7 lakh 84,000 entry. Now if you look at this, okay, realization account what we are preparing here, I can show in such a way like first I'll bring the amount of building to the realization account. So two building. Okay, two building. The value of building is rupees 5 lakhs, and this building got sold out, and that fetched me an amount of rupees 8 lakh. So I'll write here as by bank. For your convenience, you can record in the bracket. Okay, what is this building? 8 lakh, and then you are paying the brokerage. So it is a liability settled, which should be appearing on the debit side. So to bank, within a bracket you can write as brokerage amount of rupees 16,000. So if you are going to prepare a full-fledged of ledger account also realization account, this is how the treatment will go. Okay, I'm showing even that parallelly for the same problem. So here if you see, they have made it as amount of building. Okay, so bank account to realization 8 lakh 8 lakh, and then realization account debited to bank account 16,000 16,000. Or else you can show in one entry as bank account debited to realization account 7 lakh 84,000 7 lakh 84,000. Clear with this third journal? Okay, coming to the fourth one, missionary, where the book value is rupees 6 lakhs, was given, okay, to a creditor at a discount of 20 percentage in settlement. When they have used the word settlement, okay, we cannot pass any entry first of all. And second thing is, in this case, we don't know how much is the amount that you are liable to the creditor. பொதுவா நமக்கு வந்து கிரெடிட்டாருக்கு எவ்வளோ அமௌண்ட் இருக்கு, எவ்வளோ நீங்க பே பண்றீங்கங்கிற இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் இருந்து அந்த அமௌண்ட் அகைன்ஸ்ட் த லைபிலிட்டியை செட்டில் ஆகிறதுக்கு அப்புறம் சப்போஸ் கிரெடிட்டார் உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது ரீபே பண்ணாதான் என்ட்ரி போடுவீங்க தவிர, கிரெடிட்டார் உங்களுக்கு எதுவும் ரீபே பண்ணாத போது என்ட்ரி வில் நாட் பி பாஸ்ட். ஐ ரிப்பீட்டட், இங்க நீங்க கிரெடிட்டாருக்கு செட்டில் பண்ணிருக்கீங்க ஒரு அசத்தை கொடுத்து. ஆனா இங்க ரெண்டு விஷயம் இருக்கு. கிரெடிட்டாருக்கு எவ்வளோ அமௌண்ட் டியூங்கிறது நமக்கு கொஸ்டின்ல கொடுக்கல. அண்ட் அதே மாதிரி இது செட்டில்மெண்ட்டுங்கிற போது உங்களுக்கு மிச்சம் மீதி ஏதாவது கிரெடிட்டார் கொடுத்துருந்தா தான் நீங்கள் என்ட்ரி பாஸ் பண்ணுவீங்க. கிரெடிட்டார் எதுவும் மிச்சம் மீதி அமௌண்ட் உங்களுக்கு ரீபே பண்ண மாதிரி சொல்லலை. அப்போ இந்த கேஸுக்கு நோ என்ட்ரி வில் பி பாஸ்ட். கிளியர்? திஸ் இஸ் கிளியர் மா? த ஃபோர்த் ஒன். Now comes the last segment. Okay, investments in the book value is 40. It is realized at 150 percentage. Okay, so very simple. The amount of investment. How much is amount of investment? Investment given is rupees 40,000. Always remember the amount what is given to us is 100% value. Okay, the amount what is given to us is 100% value. They said it is realized at 150 percentage. Okay, so very simple. Have it in such a way. If 100% value is rupees 40,000, okay, what will be the 150 percentage? Just cross multiply into 150 by 100. 10, 10, 10, 10. So 4,000 into 15. So 15 into 4 will give you 60, followed by the three zeros. So what will be the amount? What will be the amount? 60,000. Got it? புரியுதாமா? So when they said like it is realized at 150% na, always remember book value. நமக்கு book value என்ன கொடுத்திருக்கோ அது எப்பவுமே 100% value. You have to take it as 100% value. So கொடுத்திருக்கிற investment ஓட total price they given rupees 40,000. So 100 percentage value 40 na, realize ஆயிருக்கிற value எவ்வளவு சொல்லிருக்காங்க? 150% realized. அப்போ what is 150 percentage of 40,000? If you calculate it, you'll get an amount of rupees 60. So 60,000 rupees is going to be your what? Realization value. And இது என்னது? Investment realized. அப்போ இதுக்கு என்ன entry வரும் first? First அந்த investment நீங்க book value realization account கொண்டு வரீங்கன்னா என்ன entry வரும்? The entry will be as realization account debited to investment account. முதல்ல அசத்தை நம்ம என்ன பண்றோம்? அந்த ரியலைசேஷன் அக்கௌண்ட் டெபிட்டுக்கு பாஸ் பண்ணோம். So what is the value? 40,000. The amount will be as 40. Now I'm already preparing parallelly the realization account over here, right? Just parallelly the realization account has been prepared, okay, for our better understanding. So here I'll bring two investment. Value of investment given is 40. Okay. And next it is said it is realized at what price? 150 percentage. So that means the entry will be as bank account will be debited to realization account. And the amount that I got realized is for 60. And now this I should take it to the realization account credit side because it's a realization value. Okay, so by bank, probably for your convenience, you can write what value of this is 60,000. So இந்த சம்ம நான் பேரலா உங்களுக்கு எப்போ இனிஷியலா இருக்கிற புக் வேல்யூவை டெபிட் சைடில் காட்டுவியா இல்லை கிரெடிட் சைடில் காட்டுவீங்களா? அதே மாதிரி அதுக்கான ஜேர்னல் ரியலைஸ் ஆகி வரும்போது உள்ள ஜேர்னலை எங்கே காட்டுவீங்க? அண்ட் ப்ரொவிஷனையும் எப்படி டீல் பண்ணுவோன்ட்டு we are discuss it. So now it is sharp 7:15. I'm stopping here today's session. We'll continue the remaining segment in the next session. So up to this, if you have any doubt, please do let me know. Before we wind up the session, please do let me know if you have any doubts. And please make sure that you also go and watch this when you find time. Those who are joined little bit late, I've recorded the session. I'll be posting in the YouTube channel of mine. And please message or post your comment also whether you understood the concepts, whatever is being taught, or whatever you have doubt. Please post it in the comment section also, and you can also share with other friends of yours. No issues. Okay. So if you have any doubt, please do let me know and get it cleared before you wind up. If there is no doubt, then we can wind up the session. Over to you. Hello. Okay. It's fine. So If there is no doubt, then everyone can wind up. No issues. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.